Douglas of the world. Douglas of the World, international intrigue starring Jack Moyles as Brad Douglas, foreign correspondent. This week's adventure, the Judgment Day.
Telephone works. Yeah, I hear it. City desk. Works like a thing. Jonathan West? No, lady, this is the New York World. No, lady. No, we don't... Brad Douglas, what are you doing here? I thought you were working out of Tokyo with Mike Shaughnessy.
Yeah, I was. Worked it for all it was worth, so they sent me home on vacation.
Hey, you must know where the body's buried. How do you do it? You cavort all over the world with pay and an expense account, and when you had your fill, you take a vacation. Boy, you must know where the body's buried.
Which you haven't changed a bit. Same old thing. Hey, there's your teletype warning. You want to see what the excitement's about?
Nah, let him ring.
Well, I can't stand it. Hey, what's up? Much of a story?
Could be. It's a first, anyhow.
What is it?
Some nut climbed to the top of the UN building. Says he's going to jump.
All right, folks, come on. All right, now, stand back. Come on, folks, move on, will you? This ain't no sideshow. I'm sorry, fellas, no one's allowed on the roof. Lieutenant Brannigan's orders.
Where are the press? Where's Barker and Douglas of the world?
Okay. The rest of you now, inside the doors. Come on, folks, off the roof and the inside. There's nothing to see, nothing at all. Move on, folks, please, move on.
Funny thing, people, huh? Smell of death attracts them like honey does flies. Hi, Lieutenant.
Hello, Wirtz. What are you doing away from the city desk?
Sightseeing. Quite a view you get from up here.
It's better from where he's straddling that ledge. Only we can't get near enough.
Won't he let you, Lieutenant?
Well, he's made jumping motions every time we got within 10 yards of him. So we're playing it cozy from here on in. I don't know you, do I?
Oh, this is Brad Douglas. He had the foreign beat.
Any idea who he is, Lieutenant?
I don't know.
What are your plans?
Sit it out. We're rigging up a PA now so we won't have to shout ourselves hoarse in this wind.
Then what?
Then we start talking. We found out if you keep talking to him, guys like him, it holds them off. Sometimes even brings them in. Nothing in particular, just talk.
How about identifying him?
The flashbulb boys are all waiting. We're hoping the first blast off the PA will make him turn around. Between the newspapers and us, we're bound to get a line on him.
It's all set up, Lieutenant.
Okay. Did you bring the coffee?
Right over here.
Well, guess I better get on it. Nice talking to you, Wirtz. See you around, Douglas.
Yeah, sure.
I gotta get back to the factory, Brad. Coming?
If it's all the same with you, I'll just stick around a bit.
What for?
Shh, wait a minute.
You up there. This is Lieutenant Brannigan of the police. Listen, it's no good. Why don't you come down? I promise you no harm will come to you. Just come down. What do you say? Will you swing around then and give us a good look at you so we can identify you later? What do you say, huh? Well, that's not too much to ask, is it? That's not going to hurt, is it?
Come on, Brad. I got Haskell killing it. This will go on for hours.
Yeah, maybe you're right at that. Which, look.
Huh? What is...
Which? He's only got one leg.
Don't you want to come down, boys? It's awful cold. Come on. We just put on a fresh pot of coffee. Nothing like coffee on a cold night. Good, steamy, hot coffee. What do you say? Come on, huh? Yeah, pour me a cup of coffee, will you, Kelly? Oh, hi, Douglas.
Oh, Lieutenant. Getting tired? Should be after 10 hours up on this roof.
A little. Cold, ain't it? You had any coffee?
Yeah, thanks.
Getting awful cold. What are you waiting around for? Where'd you put you on this story?
No, I'm on vacation. You don't seem to be getting anywhere with him.
Not so as you could notice. Sure hope somebody recognizes him from his picture. Sometimes it works to have a relative, a girl, or somebody. Sometimes.
Yeah. Lieutenant.
Yeah?
How do you suppose he got up there with just one leg?
I don't know. Beats me. I couldn't do it with two. He must have wanted to awful bad.
Awful bad. Pretty young kid, wouldn't you say?
I'd say 20, maybe. No more.
Could be a vet, huh?
Could be. We're checking on it.
Lieutenant.
Yeah?
Why do you suppose he's up there?
I don't know, Douglas. To tell the truth, I don't know that I want to know. I don't know that I want to know.
Come on! Come off that equipment! Let's get that shoulder up!
Hi, Lieutenant.
You still here, Douglas?
Yeah. You look bushed.
Brother, I am. What's the matter with you? Don't you know enough to get out of the rain?
Looks that way.
Lieutenant!
Yeah, what is it?
There's a girl here. Says she knows him.
What? Bring her over.
Over here, miss.
Birmingham, his name. This is Mr. Douglas. He's a newspaper man. What's your name?
Mary Lou Hawkins.
How are you, Miss Hawkins? You think you know him?
Oh, yes, we're engaged. To be married. His name is Jim. Jim Brown. I don't know
You
why.
say his name is Jim Brown. Was he in the service?
Yes,
Is that where he lost his leg?
yes, Korea. Lieutenant,
Yeah.
why is he up there? Why does he want to...
Don't you know?
No. We're engaged. We were going to be married. He got his old job back. Everything was fine.
Everything?
Even that. Didn't seem to mind. I never once heard him mention it. It just didn't bother him. Not the way you always hear it does. It didn't bother him a bit. Can I talk to him, Lieutenant, please?
Sure. We want you to. Talk all you want, long as you can. In between our spending. Fix her up on the PA, Fred. We're going to have some breakfast.
Yes, sir. This way, miss.
Coming, Douglas?
Yeah. But, Lieutenant, I'm not exactly starving. Couldn't we hold off a minute?
Sure.
Jim. Jim, it's me, Mary Lou. Jim, won't you even turn around and look at me? All right, Jim, you don't have to. I understand why you wouldn't want to. What I don't understand is what you're doing up there. Are you unhappy about something?
Isn't that minute up yet, Lieutenant?
Sure
Never
is.
told me. Why
Let's
didn't
go.
you tell me?
Sure.
After all, we're engaged. We're going to get married.
Funny thing, Douglas.
What?
I didn't think there were any more girls around called Mary Lou.
Hi, Lieutenant. How's it going?
This one's almost got me licked, Douglas. He just sits there, see? Waiting. Nothing will budge it. Just waiting for something. Wish that Pete we knew what.
Well, it's 2 days now. He hasn't eaten or slept. How much longer can he go on?
I don't know, but he is.
What are your plans now?
We'll go on waiting, too. Nothing else we can do. We don't dare do anything that'll force him off. The whole country, the whole world is onto this. We don't dare do nothing.
Hey, what's going on over there?
Television, radio, newsreels, it works. Complete coverage 24 hours a day until... Been reading your articles in the World. Pretty good.
Thanks.
What happened to your vacation?
I postponed it. Is his girl still around?
That's her, huddled in the corner there. She's practically lost her voice, pleading with him. Hasn't slept. Won't touch any food.
Miss Hawkins,
Yes?
remember me? I'm Brad Douglas. I'm a newspaper man.
Hello.
Miss Hawkins, I want to help. I don't know how, but I want to help. There must be something we can do. Lieutenant Brannigan, in fact, everyone who's been exposed to this has the feeling he's waiting for something. There's no doubt he means to jump, but he's waiting. What for, Miss Hawkins?
I don't know. I wish I knew, but I don't. I just don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hurt you, but there must be a reason for all this. What made Jim Brown walk out on his life the other day? What drove him to thoughts of suicide? And why the UN building? Why not the Empire State or a dozen other buildings that are bigger, more spectacular, and easier to jump off? Why? There must be a reason why.
I suppose there must, but I don't know it. I don't ever remember anything bothering Jim. Except maybe when the Giants lost the ball game.
All right, then. What about the other day? Do you remember if he did anything special that day? Went anywhere special?
No, not special. It was his day to go to the Veterans Hospital, that's all.
Veterans Hospital, hmm? Thanks.
That's Sergeant Ritchie over there, the third bed.
Thank you, nurse. Sergeant Ritchie?
Yeah, that's me.
My name's Douglas. I'm a newspaper man. Got a couple of minutes?
Sure. Sit down. What's on your mind?
I've just been talking to Dr. Phelps. He tells me you're a friend of Jim Brown's.
That's right. What about it?
He says Jim used to come see you every time he was here.
Most every time. Why?
Did he see you the other day?
He did.
How did he act?
Same as always. What are you looking for, mister?
A reason? You know about Jim Brown, then?
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about him.
Well, I know how you feel, Sergeant, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, where does this cookie come off butting in like this? If Jim Brown wants to jump off a ledge on top of the UN, that's his business. That's his personal, private business. So where does this cookie come off butting in like this?
No, mister, where do you?
Well, I'll tell you, Sergeant. I've spent the last few months going from country to country, 25 in all, trying to find out what made people tick, what made their leaders tick, what makes them all keep on ticking. I haven't found all the answers, but I have found one in all that time. What hope there is among the peoples of the world today resides in that building at the end of 42nd Street, where all their representatives are assembled. Jim Brown's there, too. I've got an idea this isn't as personal and as private as it may seem. I think there's more to it than that. I think it concerns you and me and, well, that's enough for a starter. How about you and me, Sergeant? We're going to hit it off or not?
What do you want to know?
What Jim Brown was like the other day. What he said, how he looked when he said it.
Well, came in as usual. Sat on a bed there. He didn't look no different to me. A little quieter, maybe, but that's all.
What'd you talk about?
Well, I said, looks like I got a lease on this joint. He looked at me a little bit, and he said, is that all you got to say about it? I said, sure. What do you want me to do, cry in my beer? And he said, no, I don't. But, oh, what's it all about? What did it get us? I told him it got us home, and he laughed. I smiled. Then he says, but what did we prove by it, Sarge? What did we prove by it? He searched me. I said, what do you prove when you step off the sidewalk and get knocked down by some woman driver? Nothing, except maybe you should have stood in bed that day.
Was that all?
No. Then he says, you don't know what I'm talking about, do you, Sarge? Well, that's for sure, I said, and what's more, I don't think you do. Well, maybe not, he says, maybe not. Maybe I better look into it some more. And I said, it looks that way to me. And, that was it, the long and the short of it.
You ever talked that way before, Sergeant?
Nah. You know what I think, mister?
No, what?
I think it's that girlfriend of his. No, I've seen it happen a dozen times. Guys can go through hellfire and brimstone in action. Never show it. Then they get home and some dame gets her hooks in them and they come all loose at the seams. Funny, though, I never thought it had happened to Jim Brown. That boy had guts, mister.
He still has, Sergeant. Hey, Lou.
Yes? Oh, hello, Mr. Douglas.
Why isn't someone on the PA?
Lieutenant Brannigan gave it up. He says it's a waste of time. They're working on some kind of scheme now to bring him in.
Bring him in? How, in heaven's name?
I don't understand. Something to do with the net.
Net? Are they out of their minds? Brannigan.
All right, now, what you...
Brannigan, listen to me.
I give you the second.
Brannigan.
Look, Douglas, I'm busy now.
I don't care what you are. You got to listen to me now.
Now, look, Douglas, I don't want any trouble. I asked you in a nice way to wait.
I'm telling you in the only way I know how. This can't wait.
All right. What is it?
You can't do it, Lieutenant. Whatever you're doing, you can't do it to that boy.
Why not? It's for his own good. It won't hurt him.
That boy up there is no psycho, Brannigan. He's as rational as you or I. You can't do this to him. You just can't wrap him up in a net like you would some wild animal. You can't put him in a straitjacket as if he were a manic depressive on the loose. You just can't. We got to convince him that it's worth his while coming down.
We've tried that, Douglas. It's got us nowhere.
Then we got to try again and keep trying.
It won't last that long. I've been through these affairs before. He's going to jump, Douglas, and soon. Why do you think that crowd's collected 35 stories below us in the plaza? I tell you, he's going to jump.
All right, maybe he is. If we can't stop him, let him. But don't let's push him over. Don't let's force his hand. He's done us a service on that stinking Asiatic peninsula that we can never repay. Not adequately, ever. Let's not do him a disservice now. What do you say, Brannigan?
I say you're nuts, Douglas. But I'll go along with you. What do you want me to do?
Pull away the nets.
All right. What else?
Keep them occupied. I don't care what you do. Keep them occupied till I get back.
Where are you going?
To get some people. It won't take long.
We cannot consecrate. We cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced.
Mary Lou.
It's rather for us to be here
Mr.
dedicated
Douglas.
to
Is everything all right?
remaining before us.
Lieutenant Brannigan has just been reading things. Just anything to hold him there.
That cause for which
Declaration of Independence, Constitution, the Lord's
that
Prayer,
we
the
here highly
Gettysburg
resolved
Address.
to be dead shall not
And
die.
he's just holding it, Mr.
This
Douglas.
nation
Just.
under God
Yeah, I
and a
know.
new birth of freedom.
Save him, Mr. Douglas. You've
Government
got to
of
save
the
him.
people,
Somebody's
by the
got
people,
to.
for the people.
Somebody's got to.
Hey, come on now. I think you better tell him who I am.
All right.
Stick close to me, huh?
Mr. Douglas is back, Lieutenant.
Good. I've done all I can, Douglas. It's up to you now.
Yeah. Go on, Mary Lou. Tell him about me.
Jim, can you listen to me a minute? Jim, this is Mr. Douglas here. He's a friend. You don't know him, but he's our friend. No, don't turn away. I know this doesn't sound important, but it is. Jim, he knows something. He says he knows something that nobody else here knows. Only you.
Okay, Mary Lou. Hello, Jim. Jim, I know why you're up there. I know why you picked this building. I know what you've been waiting for. And I know the time is up. You're ready to jump now, I know. And I don't blame you. But I'm going to tell you about yourself. Your whole life up to the other day. Then I'm going to tell you what happened to change it all. You know, they say a man's life passes swiftly before him as he dies, so that in that last mortal moment he can review all the things he's done and all that he's left undone. But that's all, and it's over. And there's nothing more he can do about it. But this time it's going to be different, Jim. This time I'm going to do it for you. Now, before you fling yourself out into space. Before it's too late to go back and do something about it. Are you listening?
He's listening, Mr. Douglas. He's listening.
Yeah, I know, but this is no good. Look, Lieutenant, can I forget about this PA and get up close to him? I don't think we'll ever really reach him this way. It's too impersonal, too public.
Well, if he'll sit still for it, go ahead.
I'm not going to give him a choice. I'm just going to do it. But it's got to be me. Just me.
Sure.
Mr. Douglas.
Well, okay, you two. Look, Jim, I'm going to get rid of this TA and come up close where we can talk. Mary Lou's coming with me, but that's all. We'll stand just under the ledge and talk to you. Nothing more. Okay?
Mr. Douglas, he won't.
Don't upset him. There. Isn't this better, Jim? Up to the other day, Jim, you were a boy who took everything in his stride, right? What will come, will come. That was always your philosophy, wasn't it? You weren't a worrier. You just took things in your stride. Even when you lost that leg. Because you knew that everything would be fine again once the medics fixed you up. Am I right, Jim? Are you listening to me? I want you to listen close. I don't want you to miss a word of it. And if I get any of it wrong, Jim, I want you to stop me and tell me I got it all wrong. Okay, Jim? Okay, so you came back to the States and you found everything was the same. The old job was there. She was there. Nothing had changed. Life went on as if nothing had happened. You said to yourself, sure, that's the way it's got to be for survival. You take life in your stride. And so you did for a while. You began to make plans with her. You began to talk about a home and about children. And that's where something happened to your stride, wasn't it, Jim? Thinking about those children. Thinking about them growing up and going to school, and getting out of school, and then what, Jim? Going to war? Always war, forever pain and suffering. And as you thought all that, something happened to you, didn't it?
Oh, Jim, why didn't you tell me? Why did you keep it to yourself? Why couldn't we have shared it?
Mary Lou, please. Instead, you became what you never were before. You became a warrior. And you began to ask yourself, seriously to ask yourself, the questions you'd taken in your stride before. Why did it happen? What did it mean? Was it worth it? So you went to some books written by men who look into these things. There you found a few answers. In Korea, the book said, the UN has taken history's first collective action against aggression. And you were relieved because it was a good answer. You were relieved to know that that lost leg was part of history now and not lost after all. And reading on, you learned a lot more. You learned that in some 7 years of its existence, the organization that's housed in this building you're perched upon had brought peace between Israel and the Arab states, India and Pakistan, had established Indonesia and Libya as free and independent nations. And you were proud to have been part of that world force. You understood better then why it had happened, and what it had meant, and why it was worth it. You strode away from the books in a way you never before had. And you were no longer afraid to have children, no longer uncertain about marriage and the future, because it seemed to you that the world had found its proper stride, too. And it couldn't possibly go wrong now. But when you talked to people like Sergeant Ritchie, you discovered he didn't even know what you were talking about. And you talked to some others, and they said, sure. But you could tell they hadn't really thought about it either. They didn't really know. Suddenly you were shaken by that realization. Suddenly you were scared. Suddenly all things were meaningless and a waste and worthless. Suddenly it seemed that none of it was true, save what was in the books. You shook with that knowledge. So much that in a kind of desperation you limped into this building looking for some last straw, for some assurance that it was not as lost and as hopeless as it seemed. You read the preamble of the United Nations Charter, up there on the wall for all to see. Read it aloud to yourself. We, people of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, to hereby establish an international organization to be known as the United Nations. You read those words aloud to yourself, didn't you, Jim? Not once, not twice, but a dozen times. Read them and savored them and found comfort in them. And then walked with some recovered confidence into the General Assembly room, seeking further reassurance. Only it wasn't there, was it? It wasn't there at all. In its place were strife and dissension, hate and deceit. Your heart sank and you wept bitter tears, just as you're weeping them now. No, Jim, don't turn away. Let us see them. Let the whole world see them. They've got to see them, Jim, so they'll understand why you're up here, why you took off that shiny new artificial leg and shinnied your way painfully up to that final precipice of man's hope and salvation. Why you're perched hopelessly and prayerfully on that tottering ledge of man's uncertain future, waiting, determined and waiting. They shall know why you weep and why you must jump. Am I right, Jim? Am I right? Jim, one last thing. Down below you there's a mass of humanity with its collective face turned up to you. The whole world's looking on, Jim, listening. They know why you've done what you've done. You've made them aware of the meaning of your act. And you've made them aware of the meaning of the UN. You're up there, and the time has come to jump. To put the final exclamation point to your act and to your life. But, Jim, it's wrong, believe me. You can't do it. Like you, Jim, the whole world's teetering on the brink of destruction. You're its symbol now. Oh, I know what you're thinking. You think they've come to gawk, those people down there, to watch you plummeting to earth. Well, you're wrong, Jim. I went down into that crowd a few moments ago, and I brought some of them up here with me. Turn around, Jim. Look into their faces. What do you see? Pain, worry, anxiety, sorrow. You know, there's an old proverb, Jim, that says, the gods we worship write their names on our faces. It's in your power, Jim, to change the look on these faces, to put hope there. It's in... Jim, wait! Jim, listen. Listen, do you hear that? Do you hear them down there? Look down, Jim. Look down a moment before you leap, please. They're praying, Jim. The whole world's praying for you to live. Because they want to live. Down there at the base of this monument to the world's last best hope. They're on their knees praying. You can't do it, Jim. You can't die. The world's hope can't die here in this building with you. You've got to live, Jim. You've got to live and walk and take the whole blessed future in your stride. Oh, I can't talk anymore. Sorry, I can't. I just can't.
Mr. Douglas, he's turning around. He's coming down. It's singing down below. Oh, Mr. Douglas, thank God he's not going to die.
Yeah. Thank God.
Douglas of the world. The Judgment Day starred Jack Moyles as Brad Douglas. Music was composed by Earl Lawrence. Musical direction by Michel Perrier. The Judgment Day was written by John Vlahos. Production and direction by Stephen R. Callahan. This concludes the series Douglas of the World. Phil Woodson speaking. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.